All right, what up, traders? Super excited for today's video. Going to break down ticker symbol VET. This is Vechain. We're going to start off with the recent price action. We're going to look at the bullish setups that I have. We're looking at the bullish price targets that I have. All right, and we're going to go over, actually break down the whole entire chart by the end of this video. So you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to be able to learn how to combine signals, whether it's a divergence between the relative strength index down here and the price action, okay, like we're going to cover, whether it's a chart pattern or whether it's using the Fibonacci's, okay, to give yourself some mathematically generated price targets, because cryptocurrency and the stock market, whether you believe it or not, is traded by mostly algos, right? At least like 70% of it is done by algorithms. So you have to think like an algorithm sometime. And to do that, you can start using some math formulas like the fibs, and they'll give you some valid price targets you can look for to the upside and the downside. We're going to cover all of that. So make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's break right into it. Okay, so the first thing we're looking at, this is a descending wedge, falling wedge pattern. It's a bullish pattern where in a perfect world, you'd get a breakout up here to the top of where the pattern started. Now, sometimes it goes straight up. Sometimes you get a breakout, a retest, okay, and you come back down and then you get the move. And sometimes, you just get a look above and fail. We come out, we look above, and then ultimately we don't get the full move and we come back down. But what I like about this setup right now is that the bullish divergence we have. Okay, so highlight this right here, or I've already highlighted it, but focus on this. We have what's known as a low and a lower low, right? So clearly this coin is in a downtrend, okay? But the relative strength index over here, we have a low and we have a higher low. So what we've done is we've created a divergence, a bullish divergence, because the relative strength of this token has kept increasing as the price of the token has kept falling. Now, look at where we bounced, right? We also have, so this is a little bit of a longer divergence where we have a low here and a lower low here, right? But right here, we also have a low and a lower low. Well, look, it follows that trend line very well, okay? And we bounced at this point on the chart. Okay, and we're there. I'm mainly emphasizing this because we're holding this bullish divergence trend line, and we haven't really seen a big pop yet. So we may get a big pop, or if we break this bullish divergence trend line, you can expect the coin to fall. All right, but for right now, things look good. We're going to see if it can continue to push up higher on the relative strength index and ultimately get a breakout of this trend line. Now we're looking at the 61.8, the 50%, and the 38.2% retracement levels. Those are very, very important. The 61.8 is the golden ratio, and is the one that most people are the most familiar with. Okay, but in total, these three are my favorites to use when you're looking for a retracement. So what we're doing is we're actually tracking the retracement down of this move, right? So there was a big move down. Things aren't going to fall down in a straight line. What they're going to do is it's going to come down, it's going to retrace, and then possibly head lower, right? Now we can take it out, all right, and take out this level and ultimately push back up higher. All right, but things are going to retrace. So we may retrace to the 38.20, to the 50%, or the 61.8% if we get this breakout. So those are the things that I'm looking at currently, and that I like a lot. Right. If we take a look at the actual whole move, right, and kind of like the whole potential, if we look for a retracement of this very, very big move down, all right, we have the 38.2, 50%, and 61.8% all the way up here at these much higher price targets, right? We have 0.04, 0.05, and 0.06, just to give you guys some rough estimates and numbers if we were to come down and retrace some of this very large move. Okay, come back up, retrace it, and then maybe possibly head back lower, or we take it out and start a new uptrend. All right, now, as I said, we're going to break down the whole chart and the whole history of the chart. So, previously what we had here was a bear flag. All right, and there's a couple ways to draw it, but I just drew it as a nice little flag. You have your flag pole. Here's your actual flag, right? And once you break this trend line here, you're going to get a sharp move to the downside. That's roughly like the length of the flagpole, right? And if you see, we did get that sharp move down. We hit the projected move, hit the projected target. And that was a nice bear flag that you could have traded. Or if you're holding up here and you're seeing this, you're saying, okay, well, there's potentially big downside, right? Look at how much it fell after that bear flag. It's about 60% at the lows there. We'll go over this one right here, and this is going to be a good example of the fibs hitting, right? Because we're looking to see if they're going to hit over here. I'm going to show you guys examples of them hitting, and just verify some of the things that we've been discussing and going over. So what we have there is we have our swing high up here, we have our swing low down here, right? And as I said, we don't go down in a straight line. We come down and we retrace, right? And then we head back lower. Look at exactly where we found resistance, right? It was right here at the 61.8. That's the golden ratio, aka the golden pocket. Now, in that process of retracing that move, okay, coming down, doing the retrace, coming down, we formed a wedge pattern, right? We formed that same wedge pattern that we're looking at currently. And we also formed bullish divergence. I didn't chart it up, but I'll go ahead and chart it up for you guys just so you can see it. Okay. And so look, we have a low and a lower low, right? We have a low here, we have a lower low here, we have a low here, we have a higher low here. So the relative strength is increasing as this token's price is dropping. We form a bullish wedge pattern and ultimately we get a perfect breakout. Okay. And you see that we come up and we do hit the perfect world scenario where we hit the top of where that move started. And that was a really nice trade, really nice gains, right? If we take a look, from the bottom, like let's say you entered in here off of the bullish divergence, you entered in early, okay? The gains on that was about 120%. Now, if you're a more patient trader, less risky, right? Once we get the breakout here, that was a nice move to the upside, about 70%, okay? The next pattern that we had on the chart was this one right here. It was a head and shoulders. Those are pretty easy to identify once you get trained. You're going to be looking for a left shoulder, right? A head and a right shoulder. And in a perfect world scenario, it's going to come back down all the way down to where the move started or where the pattern began. And sure enough, we do get a perfect world play out and we come all the way down to where the pattern began. All right. We'll take a look over here and we have the same thing. We have another head and shoulders. We have a left shoulder. We have a head. We have a right shoulder. We come down. We get the projected move. Right. Here. All right. And we're going to highlight bearish divergence now, which I don't know where all of my RSI drawings went. But anyways, what we have is a high here and a higher high here. So the price is going up. Right. We're clearly in an uptrend. We're going up. But the relative strength is going down. It's getting weaker. So, the relative strength was really strong up here. We went even higher on the price of the token and the relative strength decreased, meaning that the strength of this token was weaker. And we got a very sharp move to the downside, again, forming that wedge pattern. And boom, we ultimately get a nice perfect world scenario and hit the bullish price target all the way to the upside. What's the next one we're going to look at here? We have a nice little triangle pattern here. All right, so it's different from a wedge because we're holding, we basically have like this flat support level that we're holding, right? It's not really wedgy like that. It's more of a flat level here. And we got a nice break of this trend line. All right, and we got a nice push to the upside. That was a very nice trade if you were able to get into that. We can take a look here, and if you entered off of the breakout all the way up to the highs, that was over 100% on your returns if you were able to get in on that. We'll come over here, all right, and we have some bull flags, right? So we were looking at bear flags earlier. Now we're looking at the bull flag, right? We come up, we create this little channel right here. We get the nice breakout to the upside, and once we do, we see a very, very sharp move to the upside, and really, really good gains there. Now, what we're going to do is go over the fibs and talk about this retracement a little bit more, okay? So I want to show you guys 2 times of using the retracements as support rather than resistance, okay? So if you take a look, from this low right here, okay, up to the highs. So here's our swing high, here's our swing low. All right, we're going to, again, things don't move up in straight lines only. So we see a movement up, we see a retracement. Look at where it finds support right here at the 61.8%. All right, that's the golden ratio again, and boom, that's when we explode to the upside and make the bull flag and then break out of the bull flag. So, it was a really nice support level to start getting in at and looking for, as a potential re-entry on this play. Now we get the same thing again here, right? where we have our swing low right here. We have our swing high right here. All right. And we don't move in straight lines, people. There's always going to be a retracement, right? So we come up, we retrace down to the 61.8% level. All right. And then go higher. All right. In that process, we formed a nice little bull flag and we got the bull flag breakout and a very nice move to the upside once again. And then we can come over here. All right, and we can take a look. And what we have, all right, is some bullish divergence again. Now, this is supposed to be right here. And, we'll highlight that real quick and go over not only chart patterns and Fibonacci's, but, the divergences. Now, I don't know where all of the drawings went, so I'll just have to draw them up as I'm going real quick. For some reason, they got deleted, but we have a low here. We have a lower low here. We have a low here of a higher low here. The relative strength is increasing as the token is dropping in price, right? And from there all the way to the highs, that was a 120% move. Very nice signals, right? Now, again, none of these signals are 100%, but you can start to combine some signals, and once you get maybe a chart pattern mixed with a divergence, and it's lining up with some of the fib levels, then you can have a little bit more confidence in entering or exiting your trades. Right, the next one we're going to look at is the opposite. It's going to be a bearish divergence. Again, we have a downtrend line on the relative strength index right there, and then we have an uptrend line on our price action. Okay, we have a high, we have a higher high, we have a high, lower high, bearish divergence, and that was a very sharp drop to the downside from those highs. All right, it fell 55%, ultimately dropping about 62%. And we take a look here again. All right, we're seeing the bull flag pattern, bull flag breakout, move to the upside. You should be getting familiar with some of these now. We see the head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Perfect world scenario. We come down to the price target of where it began, and we got that. Over here, we see another head and shoulder, right? Here's our head, here's our left shoulder, here's our right shoulder. Get the perfect world play out. And right here we have the wedge pattern that we've gone over a few times, right? And we're zigzagging in through this area, ultimately getting the breakout. And this is a good example of not getting the perfect world scenario, right? In the perfect world scenario, we would have came all the way up here, but we came up, retraced and then came up and we formed a double top, all right? And then that's when we started to form the head and shoulders that resulted in us dropping, all right? What's our next pattern here? We have some bearish divergence again, all right? So again, high, higher high, have a high, we have a lower high right here. All right, so the relative strength is decreasing as this token is increasing in price and going higher. Over here, we have a bullish divergence, right, where the token is dropping, but we're seeing a increase in the price. So boom, boom. And yeah, that's basically it. That's all I've been charting up on Vechain, ticker symbol VET. Hopefully you learned something new in this video. We can go back to the beginning of the chart right now and take a look at what the current price action is, what we're looking for, and we're going to be looking to see, okay, if we're going to get a breakout, all right, due to the bullish divergence and the bullish falling wedge. If that does happen, we would look, to come up here in a perfect world scenario and get this target up here. But if we can take out and keep going higher, we would get a 61.8% retracement right up to roughly 0.029. That would be a retracement of the most recent highs, right, to the most recent lows, and nothing goes in a straight line, remember? So we'll look to see if we get a retracement up to this area somewhere before potentially heading back lower or taking out these levels and trying to make a higher high. But if we make a higher high, we need to be cautious that we don't have bearish divergence, all right, and make a lower high on the relative strength index. All right. I do viewer requests every week. Forgot to mention that. So if you want to see your crypto, your stock, maybe even a strategy you want me to explain, let me know in the comments below. Be happy to do it for you.